Dear students, today I am starting the chapter called tissues. From the last chapter, if we recall that all living organisms are made up of cells. In unicellular organisms, a single cell performs all basic functions. For example, in amoeba, a single cell carries out movement, intake of food, and respiratory gases, respiration, and excretion. But in multicellular organisms, there are millions of cells. Most of these cells are specialized to carry out a few functions. Each specialized function is taken up by a different group of cells. Since these cells carry out a particular function, they do it very efficiently. In human beings, muscle cells contract and relax to cause movement. Nerve cells carry messages. Blood flows to transport oxygen, food, hormones, and waste materials, and so on. In plants, vascular tissues conduct food and water from one part of the plant to other parts. So, multicellular organisms show division of labor. Cell specializing in one function are often grouped together in the body. This means that a particular function is carried out by a cluster of cells at a definite place in the body. This cluster of cells are called tissues, which are arranged and designed so as to give the highest possible efficiency of function. Blood, phloem, and muscles are all examples of tissues. A group of cells that are similar in structure and or work together to achieve a particular function forms a tissue. Now, let us compare the structure and function of plants and animals. Do plants and animals have the same structure? Do they both perform similar functions? There are noticeable differences between the two. Plants are stationary or fixed. They don't move. Most of the tissues they have are supportive, which provide them with structural strength. Most of these tissues are dead. Since dead cells can provide mechanical strength as easily as live ones, and need less maintenance, animals, on the other hand, move around in search of food, mates, and shelter. They consume more energy as compared to plants. Most of the tissues they contain are living. Another difference between animals and plants is in the pattern of growth. The growth in plants is limited to certain regions, while this is not so in animals. There are some tissues in plants that divide throughout their life. These tissues are localized in certain regions based on the dividing capacity of the tissues. Various plant tissues can be classified as growing or meristematic tissue and permanent tissues. Cell growth in animals is more uniform, so there is no such demarcation of dividing and non-dividing regions in animals. The structural organization of organs and organ system is far more specialized and localized in complex animals than even in very complex plants. This fundamental difference reflects the different modes of life purchased or pursued by these two major groups of organisms, particularly in their different feeding groups of organisms. Also, they are differently adapted for a sedentary existence on one hand and active locomotion on other, contributing to this difference in organ system design. It is with reference to these complex animals and plant bodies that we will now talk about the concept of tissues in some details. Now, dear students, let us start with the plant tissues. Plant tissues are mainly divided into meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Okay? The growth of plants occur only in certain specific regions. This is because the dividing tissue, also known as meristematic tissue, is located only at these points. Depending on the region where they are present, meristematic tissues are classified as apical meristem, lateral meristem, and intercalary meristem. New cells produced by meristems are initially like those of meristem itself, but as they grow and mature, their characteristics slowly change and they become differentiated as components of other tissues. Now, apical meristem. Apical meristem is present at the growing tips of stems and roots and increase the length of the stem and the root. The girth of the stem or root increases due to lateral meristem, that is cambium. Intercalary meristem is the meristem at the base of the leaves or the internodes on either side of the nodes on twig. As the cell of this tissue are very active, they divide and redivide, and hence they brings overall increase in the height and the increase in the breadth of the tree trunk. Dear students, this was about the meristematic tissues. Now, let us enter into the permanent tissues. What happens to the cells formed by meristematic tissues? They take up a specific role and lose the ability to divide. As a result, they form a permanent tissue. This process of taking up a permanent shape, size, and a function is called differentiation. Cells of meristematic tissue differentiate to form different types of permanent tissue. Now, this permanent tissue is divided into mainly simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissues. First, simple permanent tissues. Simple permanent tissues consist of few layer of cells forming the basic packing tissues. This tissue is parenchyma, a type of permanent tissue. It consists of relatively unspecialized cells with thin cell walls. They are live cells. They are usually loosely packed. So, this was about the introduction of simple permanent tissue and somewhat the little structure of parenchyma. Next comes the collenchyma and the sclerenchyma. Okay. Now, the flexibility in plants is due to another permanent tissues which you can say as collenchyma. Collenchyma allows easy bending and in various parts of the plant leaf without breaking. It also provides mechanical supports to plants. We can find these tissues in leaf stalks below the epidermis. The cells of these tissues are living, elongated, and irregularly thickened at the corner. There is a very little intercellular space among these tissues. Dear students, this much is enough for today. In the next part, we will discuss about the next part of this very chapter. Till then, goodbye.